Hey guys, Uroš Krička here from Dark Blade Knives. Here's my first video on a little bit of more talk and less work, but still it will give you some background on my knives. So today you will see my workshop, my tools, how I do stuff. If you want to see how that is really physically done, there are already some videos how I make bushcraft knives and pocket knives, and of course kitchen knife and some other models are coming up. So everything starts with the steel. What I typically get is something like this. So flat ground stock. Even though I'm in EU, I still buy my steel from UK. Ground flat stock. Yeah, GFS knife supplies. I think this is ground flat stock. Are really awesome guys. I mean, support from these guys is beyond anything I saw ever, not just in the steel. They have a wide variety of steel, but also the combinations of thickness, width, length, so you can really pick the stock where your cutoffs and the waste will be minimized. That's that. Once I have that, I cut to pieces, and you can see I draw a design of the knife. So this will be wolf 4.5 millimeter thick steel, and probably the scales will be antler. Not sure yet, because here I have some other stuff prepared. So this is the wood I like the most. It is, I think it's among top 10 most expensive woods. It's called bokote. It's extremely dense wood, very oily. So when you sand it up to, let's say, 600 grit or 1000 grit, it will shine and no water will penetrate ever in that wood. And here it's another thing. This will be kitchen knife, 2.3 millimeter steel. It goes to almost 0 over 5 centimeters. So extremely thin knife, ultimate cutting performance. And here I have already prepared the handle for the kitchen knife. The steel I use, it's always so far high carbon steel. Mostly I'm using 1095. It will give me a very nice dark patina. It will allow me to sharpen the knives to the very thin edge. It will hold edge nicely, and what is more important, also you will be able to sharpen it, let's say, much more easier than if you would take a more complex steel, stainless steel, kind of like a, Elmax or any other fancy stuff. So that's that. Of course, after I put the design on the knife, on the stock, I go to the grinder. I will put some videos in between where you can see the workshop and you will see the tools, even though I'm pretty sure you know what is what. Primary tool, grinder. First grinder that I had did not have a speed control. Extremely hard to learn to do the precise, detailed work. Yet when you learn with that one, you can say you learned well. This one now is with the speed control, and the life got much easier. So if you are into this, do invest a couple of euros more. It will make your life easier. Or if you want to learn the hard way, I mean, I do it like that. You never forget that stuff. This one probably most of you know. So the drill, of course, a bunch of holes that needs to be drilled. It's good to be a stable one, strong enough motor. Yeah, if you can control the speed, that much better. For mine, I have to take off the cover and change the belts a little bit. I never do it, so, but it still works. You can see I'm actually working in a small room in the basement of our house, and there's a tremendous amount of dust. So if possible, invest in something like this just to pick up some of it. You will be super happy. I invested a little bit late, but yeah. Bandsaw. One thing which I figured out is that very often the overall look and feel of the knife is the scales or the handle, which means that if you really want to make impressive knives, you will have to, you know, very often search for a special wood. You remember I told you in my video about bocote. This is like a, you know, wood pornography, yet extremely difficult to find. Google bocote, you will see it costs a lot. I was lucky, sorry about that, to find a good piece. I paid a fortune for it, but I think there are some scales in that. Of course, I'm very lucky to have my dark bladers, you know, providing me some nice pieces. This is walnut, European walnut. I would say this is close to the bottom part of the tree, so close to the roots. So this is why such nice, design lines. Let's say here you can see already prepared some. Also, I'm pretty sure you know this is spalted wood. When I tell to the people if they can find me some, they are confused because this is the wood which is beginning to rot. Interesting stuff is you see a little bit brighter and darker. This is the fungus, the different types of funguses meet, and this they call the war zone. So if you Google spalted wood and you go into a little bit more detail, you will see this explanation. But this wood, it's stabilized, so it's soaked in the stabilized resin, and then hardened at 100 degrees. So this is basically stronger, even though it's sort of beginning to rot. It's stronger than many hardwoods which are not rotten, let's say. Here are some pre-prepared stuff. All that goes then to the grinder. This was cut on the bandsaw, goes to the grinder, flatten it. That's it. Maybe tip of the day, if you want to really have everything fit, flatten, make both parts parallel. So once you drill the holes, imagine that there will be 2 holes here. You will drill it on top. If you have everything parallel this way, then your pins will enter, very nicely, and you will have no gaps, which it adds another dimension, quality dimension, to your knives. Yeah, that's most. Of course, the vise. So for the good old elbow grease with the files, hacksaw, etc. Some hammers, some drill bits, measurement tools, various stuff. End of the day, I think I spend like twice as much money as I would need to, due to the learning curve. So you buy this and that, you try this and that, and yeah. But after 3 years, it has been an incredible trip, and I wouldn't change it for anything in the world. As I said, let me know if you want to know some specifics, and I'm happy to explain. Thanks. Grind the profiles, grind the bevels, drill holes, then I go to heat treatment, which is another, I think, extremely important part of the knife making, or we could say even the most important. At that point, I also do not complicate too much. I use color charts, which are freely available on the internet. I will show you also as a insert video how you can find that and the colors. Why I do that? It's in my nature to try to simplify stuff as much as possible. And of course, I mean, kiln wood is easily 1,500 up to 2,000 euros. And then also, if you miss the recipe, you cannot heat treat properly. But end of the day, this knife making for me is a skill building stuff. So I want to be able to do it the old fashioned way. So here is stuff a little bit more ugly, but these are the vermiculite boards, which are, how should I say, insulation stuff. So once I heat treat the knife in there, it will be, you know, extremely hot, heating it up to 1000 degrees, yet on the outside it's not, because it's insulation. So once you're looking, if you want to make a simple one back home, look for insulation stuff, not the stuff that accumulates the heat, which is typically what they put into the furnaces. And this is my oil. You can see this is a little bit longer, not the vessel, but you know, the stuff where I put it, because one time I was also making a katana, so I wanted to do, I needed a little bit longer one. The point here, this is the oil which is used also in the kitchen. I need to check out the English translation, and I will put it into the description below of the video, so you can check. But the point here is, you don't have to complicate if you want to start making knives. Keep it simple, and still, yeah, the knives will still be very, very high level, or very yeah, the performance of such knives will be on the high level. Let's put it like that. Put the knife, sorry, put the steel into the fire, or you know, whatever source of heat that is strong enough to heat it to the certain level. Recognize the color of the steel, whether it is, you know, cherry red, orange, yellow, depends on the temperature that you want to heat treat, and then quench it. So I mean, I will not bother you with the details. The point is, you bring the steel from this, let's say, which is called normal temperature, up to the certain level, to the austenite, austenized condition, and then cool it down as fast as possible to form the martensite structure. Of course, you can do that. You can cool down the steel in the oil or in the water. Oil is a little bit slower agent, so it will allow steel to cool a little bit slower, which will introduce a little bit more, or let's say the final product will be less fragile. So the faster you cool down from the austenized temperature, the more brittle the product that comes out of the quench. Of course, there are some details, I will not go into that. And that brings us to the next step. So heat treatment, let's say it's a heat treatment, is the quenching part and the tempering part. Of course, there's normalization before all that kind of stuff, because this is the heat, the steel that I buy from the controlled production. I tend not to normalize it so far. With the knives that I test broke after the heat treatment, the molecular, not the molecular structure, but the grain structure, it's so fine that I'm pretty sure that the quality is spot on. So you heat treat the knife, you change it from, let's say, relatively soft to extremely hard. Take it to the grinder, clean it up to the shiny surface. Then I use something like this. Again, the old-fashioned way. This is a handheld burner, and I heat the knife again to the certain color. So it will get, let's say, it depends on the steel that you want to use. Again, you have to heat it up to the certain color to lower the hardness. The hardness of the steel or the knife, or, hardened steel is measured in Rockwells. There are other measurement units. In a knife making, we are mostly using Rockwells, and my goal is to have the knives, let's say, in the ballpark of 60 to 62 Rockwells. Of course, there will be people who will comment, about the exact of the science, all that kind of stuff. I agree, they're completely spot on. The fact for them is the measured hardness of my, I think I measured it 2 times. The blade that came out of the quench of the 1095 was 65 to 66 Rockwells. So those of you who knows a little bit about the steel, you will know what I'm talking about. So the heat treatment also in this simplified way can be quite effective. That's the most important part. So after the knife is tempered, so I heat it up with a handheld torch. The knife will lose that hardness, and with it will lose actually the brittleness. So what I typically do is I take a piece of wood and I stick the point of the knife, bend it left and right a little bit just to give it a basic test. If that is all good, I go up to the finishing touches of the knives, shaping of the handle. Then the knife, so of course, if you saw my knives, you will see they are all dark. They have a dark patina, which is induced by using vinegar and instant coffee. So typically the knife goes into the vinegar for anything from 12 to 24 hours, depends how it behaves inside, how well I cleaned it, etc. And after that goes for the same amount of time into the instant coffee. After that, knife is glued up, leather sheet is made for it, and the final result is what you see on my Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube pages. And here are some examples what is made in that workshop. Remember I told you about the kitchen? So 2.3 millimeters in the back, 5 centimeters roughly, paper thin. The handle which is prepared down there will be similar like this one, so it's ebony, maple and palisander. Again another version, similar shape, geometry, just a little bit different handle. This is Wolf, in my opinion one of the most used knives that I make. 4.5 thick, 4.5 millimeters thick steel, 1095, about 13-14 centimeters edge, holds in hand, really like becomes a part of your body, your extension of your arm. This is bare. These are now made just on order. This is 6.5 millimeter steel, about 16 centimeters long edge. Really heavy duty bushcraft knife or survival knife, however you want to call it. If you want to cut something or chop, betoning, anything you do, you can do it with this knife. Another Wolf. This one is made with carbon pins, so it's all black. The wood is ebony. This is a little bit something special edition where I played a little bit with the design. You can see the jamon line of the differentially heat treated edge. Each knife comes with a leather sheet, so about 3.5-4 millimeters thick leather, simple design, hand colored, everything is hand sewn, so each hole is made on that drill you saw. Yeah, these are I call them Wolverines. It's 3.5 millimeter thick steel. These are still can be used as a bushcraft, but I started making them because hunters wanted to have a little bit lighter knives, so yeah, that's that. The one with the antler. Lately I started making also the pocket knives. They are all liner locks. All the parts are made from the same steel, also the liners. Remember the spalted wood, so you can see here a little bit darker edition. Every knife, every of these pocket knives is hand fitted, so there is not even a millimeter of or half a millimeter of movement. And here is my edition of Tanto I made. Let me see if I can show it to you. So this is like a special project that I sometimes do, just to change from this classic stuff. And that's in short. So I believe with that I gave you some background. As I said, there are some other videos already there that you can take a look, and you can, map what I was talking to the exact operations. Looking forward to read your comments. If you have any questions, why I do this or that, and any other details that you want to know, or eventually you would like me to make a specific knife, you would like to see how it's done, etc., do let me know, and I will do my best to do it. Of course, if you like the content, please do subscribe, like, share. There will be more content like this. I will try to make it more like practical stuff, so you can see how exactly certain things are done. But I also believe there is it's always beneficial to understand some stuff in the background. I remember when I was trying to learn knife making, it took me a lot of videos to figure out some details, And if somebody told me, some details that I'm explaining now, it would be much easier for me. So I'm hoping I'm shortening the learning curve for some of you who are getting into this field. Of course, in the channel, you already noticed there will be some nature shots. I like to go hiking with my buddies. There will be some bushcraft stuff, archery. I'm looking into knife throwing a little bit, so maybe the next one that I will make will be the one for throwing. So stay tuned. Thanks. Bye.